Boat moving out over there. And cans. Found a nice place to eat anyway. I just hope the cops don't take my car. It's up there. It's parked by a cemetery, so the people inside the cemetery aren't going to mind. It's just the police who might take it away. Hopefully it'll be okay. Yeah, no, not healthy, but now and again a bit of frozen sugar doesn't do any harm. Don't tell my dentist, will you? Some of these boats are quite stunning. Oh, you can see the way they're making them now, streamlined, so they get bigger and faster. You know, can't understand why the hovercraft concept, they dropped that in the UK. Maybe it just wasn't economical. Maybe the engine and the petrol, or whatever it is to keep the thing on hovering, maybe was just very, very expensive for that. Dream Team Valletta. We'd like to put a price on that. I was around here, my grandparents used to park the caravan, and it was less busy in those days, and you could walk around, you know, with less traffic and that. So, going back a while. Here's an old French car, them Citroën. You don't see many old Citroëns these days. So this whole coast really, but from here, Cannes, Monte Carlo is all quite prestigious, and you know, Cannes obviously the film festival, and made a lot of Bond movies in Monte Carlo over the years. I used to go jogging around here, and I remember back in the 80s there was a dog that used to follow me everywhere, this Alsatian, probably been dead for years. Just don't have this weather in England to sit out eating every night. Look at that, there's still some Protestants left in France. I thought we were the last. Église Protestante Unie de France, Communion Lutheran, so it's Lutheran religion, like it's equivalent to Protestantism in Germany and Holland. But there's obviously a few Protestants still here. My ancestors, the St. Pierre's, came to the UK, I believe around the 1700s, to escape Catholic persecution. A lot of the women were seamstresses. It's my quaint little hotel, run by a very nice French lady who takes care of you. It's a nice little place. I stayed here last time. She certainly looks after it. And so the Ristorante, which is very local here. I mean, this one's out the way a bit. It's not on the seafront, on the harbour, but I recommend you try this place. It's awesome. They cook it fresh. Yeah, this is the place. I'll be going there shortly. Tropez. This name, I think, is Peton. I've got a set at home. I must get it. It's just a relaxing game. Peton, I think they call it. Got one in my village where we can practice. The English one needs to be just traditional bowls, doesn't it? So say St Tropez, a great place if you want to walk somewhere. I mean, around the rocks here, there's some great walks. A bit rough in places, but I've been swimming down the coast there just this morning, and great place to come. And the hotels are quite modest in places, obviously expensive ones, but I've got quite a cheap one tonight. It's a few euros. Cheap and cheerful. Looks like they've had a few floods down here, washing the water away. Bonjour. In England we play grand bowls, big bowls, the small one. Yeah. So the idea, I think, is just to get as close to the small ball as possible. Brilliant. Très bien. I'm walking over a pitch here. I better walk around it. Those bowls in England are pretty good, and it tends to be a game for not geriatrics in the UK, but people of a more mature age, shall we say. You know, you are getting younger people taking up bowls, but the biggest job, I think, is to keep the bowling green short. And as I say, that restaurant is just around here. It's an amazing place outside. You can see it, and beautiful plant here. It's glorious. Yeah. So in the distance over there's Tropez, there's Béziers, not Béziers, San Rafael, part of the same town really, a bit like Brighton, same city, and then you come further around the coast to here and you come to St Tropez. Well, this part of France has always been special to me because I used to jog along here years ago, and I do remember there was always this dog, four-legged one that is, used to jog with me in Alsatian, and I often wonder what's happened to him or her. I've gone back sort of 40 odd years. See, it's just so nice to cool down in when it gets so hot. In France they tend to have a lot of little beach huts. And whereas in the UK, I think the law is in the UK that all beach areas, apart from the MOD, Ministry of Defence, can't be occupied. But I think France and the States, it's different. They do, like in the Cannes, they tend to purchase parts of the beach and use it for commercial purposes. Beautiful sunlit evening here in Saint Tropez. Spent the day here after driving from Cannes. And Cannes is right over there on that peninsula. And Saint Tropez is known for being a bit expensive, sort of 20 euros per pint of beer here. But it's known as a bit of a playground for the rich. A bit similar to Monte Carlo. Typically French houses. Some big liners coming in today. Not sure where they're going. Maybe to Greece. I know Port Vonder's down the coast a bit. Port Vonder's, they go to Greece from there. Here I'm not too sure. Oh dear. Doggies everywhere. Go and have a walk around the town, I think. I do love the dogs in France. I remember when the rabies thing was out in the 70s, and there was a big government drive to bring about people's awareness of dogs. But I spent some time over here in the 70s, and it seemed that French people hadn't got a clue about the danger of rabies. The other name for it was hydrophobia, and you don't really hear it much at all these days, but it was a killer illness, and there was a lot of little mountain cats running around here at the time up in the mountains in the Pyrenees, and I wanted to bring one back, and customs wouldn't allow it because of the potential of rabies. Terrible death, but as I say, you don't really hear of rabies these days. Been around here many times over the years. This stuffed seaweed is very good for the soil, I know that. Very good for apple trees if you put it on. It seems to love it, the iodine in it or whatever. There's the fortress up the top there as well. Probably from the Napoleonic Wars. Immense amounts of Ministry of Defence buildings from that period. Bonjour. Bonjour. I'm not sure, but around the corner they should still have Prince Rainier's boat, Prince Rainier of Monaco. Sort of luxury penthouse boat there. Should still be there. So through this little arch here, come into the main town of Saint Tropez. The plage. And this is the same as it was in the 80s. There's a beautiful restaurant around the corner where they cook things really, really fresh. Sardines and everything. Things in France, if you do eat meat, they tend to undercook meats. You have to ask for it to be done. Not the word bocaux, there was another word for being well done, you know. Otherwise, they do eat a lot of meat raw out here. Something we don't really do in England. Huge port along the way, a place called Marseille. It's area known as Vichy, France, which was under German occupation during the war. All that area. Now, Prince Rainier's boat used to be parked down here in the corner somewhere. You don't really hear much about his family. I think the daughter was Princess Stephanie. She was like a model type, and I think you probably aware Grace Kelly got killed, the mother. She was a Hollywood actress, drove off a cliff. It wasn't suicide, it was just a road accident in 1982. Balmy evening. This one's Monte Carlo, I think. Monaco. That flag. San Lorenzo. I can't remember the Monte Carlo flag. I think it might be that one. Monsieur, the flag is Monte Carlo. You don't know. I don't know. Prince Rainier's boat still here. The King of Monte Carlo still puts his boat here. I'm not sure. It used to be. Yeah. No problem. Thank you. Busy, doing well with some of the restaurants. I mean, Cannes last night, it was heaving with people. Like, even I went there at 1 o'clock in the morning. That restaurant called New York was still packed tight with people. This boat here is called a schooner. A very lush schooner. There used to be a TV show called The Rovers, an Australian show years ago. It was on a schooner. Imagine they have to put these in dry dock because at least once a year, because the damage is done underneath. I think this is Prince Rainier or Monaco's boat, the royalty of Monaco's boat, blue. It used to be parked right in the corner. I think it's this one. I believe so. All laid out. That's right. Monsieur, s'il vous plaît, this is the boat of Monaco, Monte Carlo. The King, Principality of Monte Carlo. Oh, it used to be here. I don't know about now. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Oh, it's one of these anyway. I don't know which one. Rather portly-looking gentleman up there. What is this? San Lorenzo seems to be, I think, the name of a boat company. I don't know. Okay. Oh, that's a bit tight, isn't it? That is tight. God Lord. Pulling out there, you've got to have some skill. Morning wonder.
Travailleurs, travailleuses.
And that one, mate, reminds me of the Batmobile. I mean, the noise it makes. Almost like there's something wrong with the engine. Awesome sight, these ships at night. You see the amount of energy that keeps them almost like a floating city. They're getting bigger and bigger. One way out there. Must be a great life being a sailor.